All right, Shalom. It's your brother Kasha Kwala coming back at you, giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. And today we're just going to go through three verses in Revelation 17 and 8. It's going to be 17, 8 through 10. Just those three verses. Just a quick overview and a good meaning of what they are. It's going to be swift, straight to the point, and it's bringing home understanding. Of course, there are breakdowns from the apostles and elders from GMS that break this down more thoroughly, which you can go look for yourselves. But in this case, this is something that's fairly quick, just to get you a foundation understanding of what these verses mean here. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 8. It says, Salakia. It's just ESPN. It says, the beast that... Salakia, 1 second. All right. So Revelation 17 and 8. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth. Verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start. We're just going to do some just quick brief overviews of what is being spoken here, give you a few meanings of what they are, focus on some of the main things, and then we're going to get through it. All right, so it says Revelation 17 and 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is a representation of what you could say, Europe. It says, and go into perdition. Perdition, that word there means destruction. And it says, and they that dwell on earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundations of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. All right. It says when they behold the beast that was. All right. So the beast that was. Oh, Salaki, when they behold the beast that was, which would be, one moment. Salaki, your dog acting up. So when the beast that was, so when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. All right. So the beast that is Rome, that was, is Rome 200 years ago. So when they behold the beast that was is the Rome 200 years ago. And it says, and is not. When it says, and is not. So we understand when they behold the beast that was is Rome 200 years ago. And is not. The and is not is the fall of Rome. Okay. And yet is. And yet is would equal Rome coming back into power via what? The USA, NATO, EU. Okay. So again, when they behold the beast that was, so that beast that was would be the ancient Rome. Okay. And it says, and is not would be when Rome fell. Okay. I said 200 years ago. I meant to say 2,000 years ago. But and is not is when Rome fell, and yet is what is to come, which we're living in today, which would be America, NATO, EU. Okay. So let's go down to verse 17. Verse 9. It says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. Right. So pretty much the mind that has wisdom is something this has been opened up to you, and you understand what these scriptures are saying. It says the 7 heads are 7 mountains, and on which the woman sitteth. Now the 7 heads are 7 mountains. In the scriptures, usually the word mountains is meant to be what? A government. All right. Let's see what the Greek is here. Oros. All right. It says a mountain, and they're saying it as literal. All right. But in this case, that's why it says what it says before this. It says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. It is wisdom to understand that the word mountain here, it means a government. To give an example of that, let's go to Micah chapter 4:1 to get a better understanding of what the word mountain is. All right, Micah 4:1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. Now, if you take that literally, would that really make sense? No. The scriptures are very metaphoric and parabolic. And there's something what you call dark sayings in the scripts, which the scripts actually teach you on how to interpret and understand dark sayings. This is Proverbs chapter 1, and I'm going to start at 4. It says, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. If I'm saying that right. It says, as a wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise words. Here's the colon. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. So how do you understand a proverb and the dark sayings of the words of the wise? You will hear, and you will increase in learning, and you will be a man of understanding who will attain to wise counsel. That's how you understand dark sayings, interpretation, and the interpretations of proverbs. You see? So it's the same thing to understand this dark saying here, because this is a dark saying to a lot of people. So to understand Micah 4:1 in this dark saying, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain or the government of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the other governments of that's what the mountains are. Because there is a government right now who is ran by Esau, and his kingdom has to go down, and another one is going to be built on top of it. Okay? That's what is being said here. Another way you can understand this is by, let's see here. 1 second here. Bear with me. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Let's see. Sometimes you can find it better in this literal scripts. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 45:17. It says, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed, nor confounded, world without end. Which is going to be the government of the Lord. It's going to be a world without end when the everlasting salvation of Israel, pretty much begins. Okay? And that's going to be the government that's going to be established on top of the mountains that we see today, which are these other little governments. All right. And it says, and it shall be exalted above the hills, which again, those are other little smaller governments. It says, and people shall flow unto it. Let's get the word government. The word government is a governing body of a nation, state, or community. Right. So let's see something else here. and then we're going to jump back on topic. Let me just type it in. That's not what I want. Again, let me go back to scripts. Matter of fact, I'll just bring this script out instead. This is Revelation chapter 2. We're going to go down to 25. Because this is another example of how a government is going to be placed over all these other nations. Because we understand it says a government is a governing body of a nation, state, or a community. Also, it says the system by which a nation, state, or community is governed, the action or manner of controlling or regulating a nation, organization of people. This is Revelation chapter 2 and 25. It says, but that which ye have already hold fast till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my words unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Now that's clear that another government is going to be set over the nations, because we understand a government is a body of nations, okay, or a body of a nation, okay? And if there's going to be pretty much a world without end from the Israelites, they're going to be over somebody, okay? And according to Micah 4:1, the mountain or the government of the Lord is going to be established in the top of the other mountains and exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. The people who shall flow into it will be the tributaries, okay? Because there's import and export in what you could say certain governments, you could say. All right. So this is an example in describing how a government is going to be ran. So going back, it says Revelation 17:9, and there is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. So we understand that the word mountains, it means government. All right. There are 7 governments. The 7 heads are 7 governments on which the woman sitteth. Now the woman, when you go back up to verse 4, I want to say, or you can start at 3. I'm going to say it. The woman is America. Okay. Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So this is describing the woman. There's a lot of adjectives in here. Okay. All right. So she was in purple. She was a scarlet colored, decked with gold. It's describing how she was. All right. And precious stones and pearls. Now, when you go and just do just a base research on America had a lot of substance, and it is a big attraction. When you see gold, when you see pearls, precious stones, things of that nature, it's a big attraction. People are attracted to that. You had the gold rush in California. All right. A lot of people came to America. All right. Now the woman would be representation of America. Now she's set upon what? A scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. There go the 7 heads again. And the 7 heads, when you look into it, is Germanian Major, Germanian Minor, the Romans, or ancient Rome, the French, the Spanish, the British, and the Greeks. Okay, so again, I'm gonna repeat that slowly. These are the 7 heads. Germanian Major, the Romans, or ancient Rome, the French, or you can call them also the Gauls. It says the Spanish, Germanian Minor, the British, and the Greeks. Now the 10 horns are Belgium, 1. You got West Germany, Denmark, England, or Ireland. You could England and Ireland, Spain and Portugal, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Greece, and the Netherlands. So again, is Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain, or in Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. Those are the 10 horns. Okay? And the woman sat upon those. Okay? And the woman sat upon those. All right? And who's the top nation today? America. Where does everyone want to migrate and travel to? America. Because it's full of precious stones. It's glamorous. It looks good from the outside looking in. It looks good. But in that golden cup that she held is full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. It looked good, but in the inside, it's completely different. All right. So going back to verse 9, we understand that the 7 heads are 7 mountains, which are the Germanian Major and Minor, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the British, and the Greeks. Those are the 7 governments that is speaking about here. It says on which the woman sitteth, which would be modern day America. All right. So going down to verse 10, let's break this down or get the overview of this. To verse 10, it says what? And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other one is yet to come. Salakia, the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Correct. So let's start with the top part. It says, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. Right. So the 7 kings are the 7 mountains that I have just mentioned, and 5 of them are fallen. And in this case, when we read the 5 that are fallen here, the 5 that are fallen are the Greeks, the Spanish, Germanian Major, Germanian Minor, and the French. So again, are the Gauls, you could say. The French, Germanian Major and Minor, the Spanish, and the Greeks. Those are the 5 that have fallen. Okay? And one is, okay? And one is, and the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Now that last part, he shall continue a short space, would be what? That would be Great Britain. Okay? And when you go further down into the lesson, when you go further down into the scripts, it will talk about I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Let me see here. One moment. Nah, I was about to say the little horn, but I don't think that's in Revelation. I think that's in Daniel. I want to say like the 7th or 8th chapter. I think it's maybe both Daniel 7 and 8. But pretty much what I was getting at there is the one that he must continue short space is Great Britain. But I was thinking the little horn because there is a power that came out of Britain, which would have been America. All right. So again, he who must continue the short space would be Great Britain, and the 5 that are fallen would be the Greeks, the Spanish, Germanian Major and Minor, the French, or you could say the Gauls. So that is just a quick overview of Revelation 17, 8 through 10. Lord willing, that was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom. Oh, Salakia. All praises and honor. Glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rachakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Shalom.